next we will see creating data in Minitab and we'll calculate CP/CPK. Now we can create normal data in Minitab. For example, here dimension 4 plus or minus 1 mm. Let us consider the process average is 4 mm. Then standard deviation is around 0.1 mm. Then we can create the data in Minitab. So how to create the data in Minitab? Let us see. So in Minitab, first we need to go for calc, then random data, then give normal data, then enter the number of rows of the data to generate. Example 30 data I want to generate. Then store in column example C1. You can store anywhere. Here you can store in C1. Then enter the mean value, standard deviation, save OK. Then random data will be created in the Minitab. Let us see how to how to see how to create data in the Minitab. Now this is a spreadsheet at the bottom side you can see, and these C1, C2 are the different columns and 1 to 3 are the different rows. Now go to calculate calc, then go to random data, then go to normal, click on the normal data. Here number of rows of data to generate, give 30 data I want to generate. So where you want to store the data? In C1. In C1 you want to store the data. Select C1. Then mean is 4 mm, standard deviation is 0.1 mm, and say OK. Now you can see here the Minitab will create 30 random data as per your mean and standard deviation. You can change a decimal as well. Now it is around 1, 2, 3. After decimal, 5 readings are there. You can change it whatever readings you want. Now, how to do CP/CPK with this data? Go to Stat, Quality Tools, Capability Analysis, Normal Data, then single column. Select the data here, C1. Subgroup size, I will say it is 1. 1 means at a time I have selected the data. Like at a time I have checked the dimensions for a particular product at a time. Then enter the lower and upper spec. Lower is 3 mm, upper is 5 mm. Then go to option and you give historical mean also. Go to options, give title, say CP/CPK example, like that we can give, and say OK, then say OK. So you will generate the CP/CPK graph. Now if you see the data is in the middle, like it's almost your process mean is overlapped with the drawing mean, and it's a good process. And this is lower specification limit and upper specification limit. Now if you see, if you analyze the graph, so we can come to know the CP/CPK values. So now there are two things here. One is PPK and CP/CPK. What is PPPPK? PPPPK is nothing but the process performance. It will predict the overall capability in the production. If the data is going like this, what will happen in the future? So this we shall not take. We shall take within for the whatever the data we collected, that we are going to see. Now if you see CP value is 3.09, it's a good process. CPK is 3.09, again it is good. Here CP and CPK is same, therefore it is exactly matching in the middle. And so this is how we can calculate CP/CPK graph using Minitab, and also we can create data in the Minitab as we did right now. Now, so this is creating data in Minitab. So in that we have written the procedure to calculate CP/CPK graph in Minitab. This is the procedure we have done, and we have calculated CP/CPK. So next we'll be seeing a right probability distribution. Right probability distribution. We use to see the normality of the data in the graphical form. We will calculate the right probability distribution for the below data dimension 4 plus or minus 1. So what is the procedure to create right probability distribution? So it is a combined thing of normality test and seeing median mode, and what is a histogram type of distribution, everything in a single graph you're going to see. Steps to do the right probability distribution. So having that set of data, go to stat, basic stat, graphical summary, select the data in the particular column and say okay. So let us perform right probability distribution for the same data whatever you have done the example right now. So we have already the data, we have the data. Now go to stat, basic statistics, basic statistics, graphical summary. Now here select the data, then say okay. Now you will get the graphical summary like this. So what and all is there in the graphical summary? So we can see the type of distribution. So it's somewhat normal. We can say it is a normal distribution. And at the bottom we can see the box plot where this is the outliers, the star indicates, and this is the lower and upper specification limit based on the data. Then this is a median. And what is this? This is a quarter one. This is a quarter one. One second. What is this? Okay. So this is a box plot. So the box indicates the 75 percentage of the quarter, that which is near to the, which can consider the in between, the middle one. Okay. Now at the bottom we can see this is a mean. Mean means it's a average, process average. And what is this 95% confidence interval is from the mean 95 both the side 95% totally how much population is covered. So from here to here it is a 95% population lies. That is when you consider the mean. When you consider the median, so it will change a little bit, so it is shifted a little bit. So basically we will do with the mean only, we'll consider 95% confidence interval with respect to mean only. So if you see, it will give you the normality test result for Anderson-Darling normality test. It is a area of the normal Anderson-Darling test. P-value is 0.468. So what is the meaning is 46% of the time the data point in the production, the next slot that you're measuring will fall within 95 percentage of the population or 95 percentage confidence interval. And these are the things it is given. Now, so this is a right product distribution where everything you can see in a single graph. Here mean is there. What is mean? 3.981. Standard deviation they given, variance they given, uh, skewness they given, kurtosis they given, n is given. Minimum first quartile, median third quartile, maximum. Okay. So 95 constant interval for mean is from 3.94 to 4.02. For median it is 3.94 to 4.03. For confidence interval for standard deviation is 0.8 to 1.3. So this is based on 95% confidence interval they are given. Okay. So this is how we can do right probability distribution to analyze everything in a single graph. So next we'll be seeing design of experiments. Design of experiments. An experiment is a test or series of tests in which purposeful changes are made to input variables of a process or system so that the changes in the output responses can be observed and identified. So what is design of experiments? You're going to change the inputs and see what happens with the output. Why you are changing the inputs in a particular systematic manner in order to get the optimum output. Now, the fundamental concept of design of experiments or DOE is that all process can be ultimately distilled to y is equal to f of x. So all design of experiments are distilled in the concept of y is equal to f of x. So what is a y? Y is the output, x are the inputs. If the input changes, the output also changes. So y is a dependent variable, x is the independent variable. So that is a function of x. Now, the goal of design of experiment is to find out what factors called x actually have an impact on y, and how changes in those factors will change the outcome. So based on changing the factors that is called x's or inputs, what will be the effect of the output we are going to see. Now, another reason to run an experiment is that it can help you understand how to set input to create the best possible outcome. Okay. Before conducting design of experiment, we must do parameter stability test. So let us see what is parameter stability test. Parameter stability test. So what is design of experiments? You're going to change the inputs and see whether there is a change in the output or not in order to get the optimum, right? So in order to change the input, the actual parameter of the input reading should have consistency. Suppose you set 100-degree temperature. Okay, this is a set value. So actual what will happen? Sometime 110 will come, 106 will come, 120 will come. So though I have set 100 degrees C, the actual temperature in the machine is varying. So this should be very, very minimal. Only then you can conduct design of experiment. Suppose if the actual parameters are varying more, there is no use of doing design of experiment. Therefore, before going to design of experiment, we need to do parameter stability test. When the parameter are stable, then we can conduct the design of experiments. Now, what is parameter stability test? So what we need to do is we need to collect minimum 24 set of data of the actual parameters of the machine, all the actual parameters, and calculate standard deviation. So standard deviation should be less than the 5 times the least count of the parameter. That means the standard deviation that you're going to get should be less than the 5 times the least count of the parameter. What is the least count of the parameter? That particular parameter least count, 5 times that of least count is allowed to vary. So in this is one of the method to measure the stability test of the parameter. So in this way, when you ensure all the actual parameter is less than the 5 times the least count of that parameter, then we can say the actual parameter is varying very, very less, or the standard deviation is very, very less. Only then we can do design of experiments. So in this case, everything is having less than the 5 times the least count, therefore it is okay. So now let us go to design of experiments. So let us see basic DOE with permutation and combination, single factorial, multifactorial, random factorial, then root cause analysis summary. Now, basic design of experiments with permutation and combination. So for doing basic DOE with permutation and combination, we need to understand what is a parameter, what is permutation, what is combination, what is the DOE and basic levels of DOE. So what is a parameter? Parameter is the element of the system or machine with our reasons to modify the state of the product. So the parameters are reasons which changes the state of the product. The right parameter setting will produce the right results or the optimum results. So when the right combination of the parameters set in the machine, we can produce the optimum result. Next, so what is permutation? Permutation is nothing but arranging things. Permutation can be defined as each of several possible ways in which a set or a number of things can be ordered or arranged. So permutation is nothing but arranging things. For example, say ABC, these are the people. How many ways we can arrange two people from total three people? So the question, understand the question. How many ways we can arrange two people from the total three people? So they're asking to arrange two people from three. So AB, AC, BA, BC, CA, CB. Here one thing to note that it is arranging things. So there's a formula that we learned. NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. So in 6 ways we can arrange ABC like this. So this is permutation. Next, what is combination? Selecting things. Combination can be defined as each of several possible ways in which a set or number of things can be selected. See, the selection is very, very important. The word selection. For example, A, B, C. These are the people. How many ways we can select two people from the total three? A, B, A, C, B, C. Only three ways. The formula for combination is NCR is equal to n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. So why there is a change means there in permutation we are arranging things, in combination we are selecting things. Therefore, for doing design of experiments, we will not use permutation, we will use combination. Assume A is a temperature, B is pressure, and C is speed. Okay, so we can change AB, AC, BC, then we can see the results. So changing AB and BA is same, changing AC and CA is same. Therefore, we don't use permutation, we use combination for DOE. Now, example of combination, selecting things. For parameters, we can use combination. Now, pressure is there, temperature is there, speed is there, then yield is the output. Okay, so this is called, we can say this is Y and these are X's. Okay, in the above three parameters in the process, how many ways two parameters can be varied for the trials? So there are three. How many ways two parameters can be changed at a time and see the output? That means you're going to change literally the parameters, correct? Now you can use the NCR formula, then it will give you three ways you can change. What is that? Pressure and temperature you can change, keeping speed constant. Then pressure and speed you can change, keeping temperature constant. Temperature and speed you can change, keeping P constant, and observe the yield and select the best combination of the parameter with respect to the yield. So this is an example of combination. Now, DOE and basic levels of DOE. Design of experiments are defined as the combination of the proportionate parameters to arrive at the optimum output in order to improve the product or process efficiency. So basic levels of DOE, single factorial and full factorial. So what is single factorial? In single factorial, we select the proportion parameters and vary at one level only once, one factorial at a time, one factorial at a time, OFAT in a experiment. Now here pressure, temperature, speed is there and yield is there. 50, 55, 25, it's a normal parameter they having. Now what they've done is they change only the pressure and keeping the two constant. Then changing only the temperature and keeping other two constant. So single factorial only one parameter will change and observe the yield. Then we'll select the best combination of parameter with respect to the yield. Now, for each line of trials, only one parameter change and the yield is recorded. So this is an example of single factorial. So next, let us see full factorial. In full factorial, in full factor, all the combination is tried, also low and high end of the changeable parameter. Now, what they're doing in full factorial is they're changing. Here if you see at a time one parameter has changed, after that two parameters has changed. That means 60 is the highest value, 55 is the lowest one. From lower to higher, all the combination are tried and we are going to record the yield. This is called full factorial. So next we'll see random factorial. So in random factorial, what we will do is, say example here, here pressure is there. Pressure can be varied from 5 to 100. So from 5 to 100, you can keep changing and doing the experiment. Coming to temperature, 10 to 100 you can change. Coming to gas percentage, 1 to 10 you can change. Now assume how many trials will come. It will go more than 500 trials it will go. So is it possible to conduct the 500 trials? No. So therefore we use random factorial with 15 experiment. Just with the 15 experiment, when the input is having a more potential to change and do many experiment, then we use the random factorial. What we'll do is we'll take the range. Now if you see, the pressure can be changed from 5 to 100. So 95 is the range. Then coming to temperature, 10 to 100, 90 is the range. Coming to gas percentage, 1 to 10, 9 is the range. So they are founded with correlation. If you increase the pressure, there is a change in the output. If you increase the temperature, there is a change in the output. If you increase the gas percentage, there is a change in the output. So all these three increasing is giving a positive result. Therefore, you need to find out the right combination of these three. What we'll do is, this range will divide by 15. We'll get 6.3 and 6 and zero point 0.6. That means the entire range that is changeable from lower to higher limit, that is divided to 15 experiment. Then you'll get a jumping range 6.3. Now what we will do is, for the LSL, we'll add the 6.3. You'll get 11.3. For 11.3, we'll add 6.3. Like this, when you keep adding, you will end up with 100. That is nothing but the USL. Maximum you can change the pressure. Therefore, you will get everything in the 15 experiment. Like the same way, you will get in the 15 experiment all the combination. Now, if you run this, somewhere you will find a good result. That little bit varying, you can optimize the output. So this is a random factorial example. So next we will be seeing process mapping.